What's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So guys, the Bulls are wrapping up training camp and have moved their practices to the United Center in preparation for the preseason and soon to be regular season. Since the stadiums will be empty, at least to start the season, so that's obviously going to be a different experience for the Bulls players, given they did not play in the bubble last year, so competing in games without fans, really for the first time for them, will be an adjustment in terms of the overall atmosphere and environment. I don't know about you guys, but I am just itching for the season to begin. And with that, for today's video, I thought I would share a few updates on a recent interview with Billy Donovan as he discusses his philosophy around the roster rotations. Now, in a way, we kind of knew that this was actually going to happen based on how Billy Donovan structures his rotations when he was coaching at OKC, but Donovan did indicate that his system and style of play centers around 9 or 10 man rotations. And with the Bulls having a full 15-man roster, this essentially means that there will be 5 to 6 guys who likely will not be included into the rotation and will be spending a lot of time on the bench. Now, Donovan did say that he is, quote, still evaluating who will be in that rotation, and it sounds like he'll be using the first 4 preseason games to help in that evaluation. But for today's video, I'll discuss my thoughts on the rotation, who will be in, who will be out, and how that may adjust over time. Now, keep in mind one important factor into this season, especially as it relates to rotations, is the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. And since the players won't be operating in a bubble like they did over the summer, it's possible that over the course of the season, players will test positive for COVID, and that can have a big impact on your overall rotation. But for now, we'll assume what the rotation looks like will be based on the roster being COVID-free. So let's begin with the starters. I think it's safe to assume, based on Billy Donovan's comments at the start of training camp around Kobe White being the primary ball handler that he is going to start at point guard. I think he's earned that even last season, especially towards the end of the season when he started putting up incredible scoring numbers and efficiency overall. Now, at shooting guard, it's Zach LaVine will start there. He's the Bulls' best player, the best scorer, and there's no doubt in my mind that he would not start. Now, for small forward, this is the only position that I think is a bit uncertain as to who is going to start. Normally, I would have said Otto Porter will start at the 3, but after Donovan's comments on their approach of phasing Porter back into the lineup and making sure that his health is top of mind, given how much time he missed last season, now I'm not so sure if he'll actually start, at least to start the season anyway. I do still believe that when healthy, Porter is actually a solid player and he fits that role nicely. He's just overpaid and injury prone, and that's why a lot of people consider him to be overrated. So with their handling of Otto, being safe and keeping his health in mind, I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they start the rookie Patrick Williams at the 3. Everyone has been talking about what a stud this kid has been in training camp, how he's really been impressing not only the players but the coaching staff. It sounds like he's more or less NBA ready, so maybe they take a shot and start him at the 3. But it's also possible they start Hutchinson. I think only time will tell as far as who's going to be taking that spot at small forward. For the other 2 starting spots, those are pretty straightforward. It'll be Markkanen at power forward and Wendell at center. No surprises there. They're the best players on the team for those positions. Now, coming off the bench, who is going to fill out the rest of that 9 to 10 man rotation? Well, I think it's safe to assume that if Otto doesn't start, he'll be included in that as a part of the rotation. And if he does start, then I do think Williams will be included in that rotation. I highly doubt that Patrick Williams would be left out of the rotation, just given how he's been showing up in practice. And then I think even for Otto, it would be unlikely for him to be left out of the rotation because he is still a very high-quality player. I think it'll be likely that Satoransky will be included in the rotation as a veteran backup point guard for Kobe White. I actually don't mind Satoransky as a player. I just didn't like him starting last year in the lineup when he was, coming off the bench makes more sense for him given his level of play and expertise. I do think Garrett Temple will also be included in the rotation as either a 2 guard or small forward off the bench. I expect Thaddeus Young to come off the bench and, like Temple, provide that veteran leadership at forward for these younger guys. So that actually already puts us at 9 players in the rotation. I'll add one more, as I think Chandler Hutchinson will also be included in the rotation coming off the bench, or he very well could start if they decide Otto Porter and Patrick Williams aren't maybe a good fit to start at small forward. The guy has to stay healthy, though. I mean, that has been his biggest issue. But among the guys remaining, I think he would get the nod to be added into the rotation. Now, who are the guys that I think are likely going to be left out of the rotation? So one is Denzel Valentine. I might have had him in the rotation a couple days ago until we found out that he's injured yet again. Evidently, Valentine had a hamstring injury, and he hasn't actually even practiced with the Bulls yet, and is confirmed he will miss the first 2 preseason games. Honestly, I'm not that shocked. Valentine has struggled with injuries throughout his entire career with the Bulls. I just hope the guy stays healthy. He is just on a 1-year deal, so it is going to be him to really show up and actually want to get an additional contract, whether it's with the Bulls or for another team. Ryan Archie, I like the guy a lot. He hustles, he works hard, but I don't think he'll make it into the rotation, not with guys like Kobe and Sato in front of him. Luke Cornett, I don't see him in the rotation. Felicio, don't even get me started on that guy. And then finally Noah Vonleh, unless he makes a significant jump in his play, I think he will likely be left out of the rotation as well. Of course, there are other players who have been invited to training camp and preseason, and it's possible these players, they might get cut from the team, or they're already included on 2-way contracts. So guys like Devin Dodson, Adam Mokaka, Zach Norvell, and Simi Shitu. I don't think those guys will likely make the team. They'll be playing in the G League. Dodson will obviously get some time with the Chicago Bulls, but he'll be spending some of his time in the G League as well. It will be interesting to see how things play out, in a very unique season, a shortened season, shortened training camp, no fans in the stadium, we got COVID protocols. I'm curious to see how the roster will ultimately shake out as the year goes on. But what do you guys think? Do you think my rotation predictions make sense? Is there anyone I'm sleeping on, or other big changes you think will be made? Let me know in the comments, and as always, if you're a Bulls fan and you like daily Bulls content, be sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.